Hey everybody, Elliott here with Providence Hill Real Estate, bringing another one of our podcasts, Chat and Chill with Providence Hill. I'm here with my good friend Caleb Boyer over here, one of the best.
Hello.
And we have Meghan Keogh, who works for Sports Backers. And Meghan, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you do at Sports Backers.
All right. Well, I am originally from New Jersey.
Yeah.
I've been in Richmond since December of 2003.
So you finally made a good decision by coming below the Mason-Dixon line and hanging out here in Richmond.
Yeah, after spending some time in West Virginia for college, my husband is actually from here. Okay. So moved home for a year before I made the move down to Richmond. Before Sports Backers, I worked for the Richmond Braves.
Oh, wow.
So I spent 3 seasons with the Braves and 6 total seasons working in minor league baseball before kind of making that shift over to Sports Backers.
Okay. What other minor league teams did you work for before the Richmond Braves?
So I spent 2 summers interning with a team called the Lakewood Blue Claws, which was a single-A affiliate of the Phillies.
Okay.
And then a year in the independent league up in Newark, New Jersey with the Newark Bears.
Yeah.
And, you know, while it's an independent league, we actually had Ricky Henderson and Jose Lima on the team while I was up there, which was
That's
kind
wild.
of fun.
Yeah,
fun.
That's great. That's great. And so then 3 years with the Braves,
Yep.
and then you got a job with Sports Backers.
Yes.
So tell us about your role with Sports Backers now.
Well, when I started with Sports Backers, I was working in our sponsorship department, sponsorship and development. And I spent a couple of years over there. And then Tracy Russell, who used to be our race director, moved on to Atlanta. She went to the Atlanta Track Club. And at that time, I shifted over to help out in the operations side. So I spent a few years as an operations manager before I started taking on the event director role for a few events. And I've been the race director for the 10K for since 2016 now.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's a fun race. It's a really great community builder. We've noticed that, how many typical runners do you guys have when y'all do the races, the 10K in the spring?
So this year we're expecting to be around 19 to 20,000 total participants.
It's a lot of people.
It is. And it's really exciting, especially after the struggle over the last few years with the pandemic. And, when you're in the industry of bringing mass of community events together, it was a tough couple of years for us, but we're excited to be back out. We were back in person last year and had an amazing day. We just had such great energy from all of the people, not only participating, but the support along the course and the spectators and the volunteers and, everybody. It really does bring the entire community together.
Yeah.
And am I right that is it one of the biggest 10K events in the nation?
It is. So we are the 4th largest 10K in the country.
That's incredible.
And we're also one of the top 50 races in the nation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Meghan, what do you think makes our race day here in Richmond, this 10K, so special? Why is it, to Caleb's point, one of the top 5 races in all of America, if you will?
Well, I mean, I think it's the community coming together, right? You don't have to be a hardcore runner to participate. We certainly have. It's a very flat, fast course. So if people are looking for a PR, that is a very possible thing. We also have seated waves. So if you are a fast runner, you have to prove you can run that fast in order to start in that group. So you're with people of similar speed. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to dip and dodge around people. But it's also for the community. A lot of people get their first race as the 10K. They kind of take that first step. This is their first kind of entryway into doing something like this. And they can do that, right? And they have the support of the community around them. So it's really just all encompassing, from the people who are, winning the race to the people who are out there just for a walk, right? I mean, we have, roughly 20% of our participants are walkers, and they're there not to run. They're there to go out and exercise and lead that healthy lifestyle in their own way.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So when you guys have these elite runners, what is the prize for the 10K for kind of your first female, your first male? What's that look like?
So it has changed over the years. We actually work with a local group here out of University of Richmond called the Collegiate Running Association.
Okay.
And so the prize money that they put up goes directly to collegiate athletes. So you don't have to be a full-time student. As long as you're enrolled in at least one class, you're eligible for that. And the CRA does an amazing job with recruiting athletes and bringing them in and really putting on the race portion of the event.
Okay. So what you're saying is, Caleb, you need to go and get like an online class with like Phoenix and get your run on.
It's a lot for me to learn. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, tell us about the logistics of the race day. I mean, it is a massive event. Like to your point, there's 20,000 runners possibly or walkers. People are trying to get some exercise, but there's also lots of other, like you've got water stations and you've got bands playing and you've got fun party zones. So tell me a little bit about how do you put all that together?
So we have an amazing team. We have an event committee that is comprised of both volunteers and staff members. And they do just a phenomenal job with all of those logistics. So we have people in charge of the party stops. We have people in charge of the bands and the water stops and coordinating all of those different things. And I mean, that work goes months and months and months prior to race day. We don't just show up race morning and say, okay, here you go. So our committee really does all of that kind of back work. And our water stop coordinator has been with us, I think, 20 years.
Wow.
He's wonderful. And he has, all of his spreadsheets and all of his data. And like every year, he's got year over year, how much should we go through and what the temperature was and all of these details.
I'm curious, do you know how many gallons it is?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it is part of the spreadsheet because it's how many cups do we need for water? How many for Noon, our hydrations partner, right? So it's like how many estimated ounces per cup and how many cups are being taken and how many we need so that we don't run out of anything, right? And that's one of our biggest things at Sportsbackers. Our logistics, we really put kind of a flag in the ground on that we're not going to run out of water and we're not going to, run out of food, and we're going to have a good experience for everybody in the race, no matter if you're the first person across the finish line or the last person.
And that's so interesting. You brought up temperatures. I've run the marathon. I've run the half. I ran with my older daughter this year, the 8K, kind of a first foray for her into running, and it was a lot of fun. And, there have been days where I've run and it's been 17 degrees, and there's been days where I've run and it's been 55 to 60 degrees, and they're drastically different. So how do you all factor in those things? You said, we don't ever want to run out of water. We're trying to find out logistically what makes sense for these days. How do you put all that together when you're not knowing sometimes till 3 or 4 days before, like what's going to happen weather-wise?
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Often for the 10K specifically, like we have heaters and fans that we've rented for our medical tents.
Okay.
So
Fair
we're
enough.
Prepared no matter which direction it's going to go in.
Sure.
We also we work very closely with CBS 6 as our official partner. Zach Daniels over there definitely keeps us updated on, the weather trends and where things are going, so that we can be prepared. And we always want to overestimate, right? Like we always overestimate on how much water we need at the finish. And if we have leftovers, like that's fine too. Yeah. We do work with some local groups to donate leftover food, as some of that stuff will expire and can't sit, but things that like bottled water, we just store in our warehouse and can use again, so that we're always prepared. Yeah.
Zach Daniels, one of your guys.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Helped out with the Fatherhood Foundation, an organization I'm a part of a number of things.
I've played a little doubles with him too.
True cornerstone of our community.
That's right. That's right. The weatherman. So you guys, obviously, it's a big undertaking, and those water stops are a big deal. And usually they're have volunteers at them. So how do you guys go about getting those volunteers to kind of fill the water stops, if you will?
Yeah, so Mary Marshall, our Graber, our volunteer coordinator, does an amazing job recruiting volunteers. The 10K has over 1,500 total volunteers.
Wow.
And that ranges from, the 2-day expo where people are picking up all their stuff through race day. So each of our water stops, we have 4 water stops on the 10K course. Each one of those has about 100 to 125 volunteers at them. So it is a big undertaking. We work with a lot of different groups. We've worked with the YMCA. They have been able to make the 10K one of their volunteer days and bring out groups from their different locations. They're also a partner in the event, which is really a great tie for us. But we work with all kinds of different groups, high school groups to civic associations. to come out, and they, it's not just handing out water, right? They've got to get there. They set up the tables. They have to pre-fill cups because when that crush comes, you don't have time to keep filling stuff up.
That's right.
You've got people handing stuff out, and then you have other people refilling and restacking stuff on the table. So it's a big job.
Where's the best place somebody could go to volunteer if they're not a part of the YMCA or one of these civic associations?
So right on our website at sportsbackers.org, there's a link to our volunteer page that shows all of our different shifts, days, times, what the commitment is, all of that information.
Go to the
That's
website.
Great. Yeah.
Great.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, as a person who's running these races in Richmond, I've done the 10K multiple times, and the water stop people are not only they're out there doing an amazing job giving out the water, but they're always encouraging. Like that's the one thing sometimes they're like, you look great. And I'm like, I've run 19 miles. I don't look great, but you're very kind to me. And so that's a big job. Like it's not just giving the water out or the noon, if you will, which is important for sure. But just that smile or like, you got this, like those little things when you're 19 miles in or 6 miles or whatever it is that you're running, those things mean a lot to you at that point. You're looking for anything you can grasp on to like get you across that finish line or whatever the case may be. So I appreciate those volunteers. They're great. And I know it's a big help for you guys.
Yeah. In addition to the volunteers, we have our spirit groups out there who are literally competing for prize money to support people along the way. We want to create that fun environment and to keep people going. It's actually one of the things that we at the Sports Backers really get high marks on nationwide. If you ever go to like a marathonguide.com to review races, that's where we always hit highs on our courses.
Really? That's awesome. That's great. So what have y'all done to kind of foster that and get that community involvement? What's the kind of the number one thing that Sports Backers have done, or there's probably multiple things to kind of engage the community and be a part of the race day?
Yeah, so I think part of it, goes back to our logistics. We make things easy for people, right?
Okay,
we want to make sure that the people coming out to support the race are having a good time. We help them, assign them a specific location. We give them details on how to get there. We can supply things like signage and for the bands, we supply the generators for them and like all of that stuff just to make the logistics easy so they want to keep coming out. And then, the energy of race day, just being out there with 20,000 people and seeing all of these people, going through the process and finishing and accomplishing something that they, some people may not have thought they could do, right? When they first started, it really just lifts up your spirit. We often get, one of the, I won't say struggles, but one of the things that we always kind of laugh about is our volunteers turn into our participants. So they get out there, they see people out there, motivated. And they get motivated to come out and do it themselves, which is just an amazing, piece for us.
I've actually had the pleasure of experiencing the hype and energy in kind of two different ways. I've run the 10K once, which I need to do it again many more times now, several years ago. But I took my SAT for the first time, and I'll put emphasis on the first time at Thomas Jefferson High School on race day.
Oh.
And windows were open because there's not AC in there. It was one of those warm days. And so just hear the bands and the cheering going on. Not the most conducive for taking your SATs, but still fun to hear and experience the energy.
Don't let him fool you, Megan. He got a 1600 that day. Don't let him fool you.
Not quite.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So tell us a little bit about what does it cost right now to run the race? And we're in April now, so we're not too far from race day. Tell us what it costs to run the race. I'm sure there's a way to get participants in and that kind of thing.
Yeah, how do you sign up?
So registration is still open. Registration actually goes through race morning. So you can sign up. Now you can sign up on the website, sportsbackers.org. Okay. You can sign up at the expo. There is a price increase from now at race week. So sign up now. And then, like I said, straight through race morning. People can continue to register. We really want to make it, like I said, as easy as possible for everyone to come out and be a part of it, no matter, when you make that decision. We also have an option to run virtually. So if you're going to be out of town, you can still participate in the event. You can still keep that streak alive if you've been doing it multiple years. We actually have a program called our 6.2 crew. And that's our loyalty program. So there are benchmarks for 5, 10, 15, and 20. And we do have people who have run every 10K since it started.
When was the first year that it started?
So it started in 2000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so next year will be our 25th running of the race. So
awesome.
yeah, we're going to have to come up with a new benchmark for our 6.2 crew.
That's awesome.
But yes, we are very excited. I think last we had checked, we have about 19 or 20 people that have run every single race every year.
That's incredible.
Wow.
And as people are signing up, you'll have a component for children as well. Is that right?
We do. So there's a 1 mile kids run, the Atlantic Union Bank 10K Mini. And that happens race morning at 8 o'clock. So they go off first. And then the 10K starts at 8:30. So we kind of get the kids through their race. We do have some security things in place for the kids. So when they finish, there's kind of a meeting area where parents come to meet their kids before we let them out of the finish line. So there's a little bit of reconfiguring after that to the 10K. But yeah, the kids they're amazing. I mean,
it's a lot of fun to watch them start.
They they take off sprinting, and then a lot of them are walking about 2 blocks.
Huffing and puffing. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes that's like me too.
Although some of them are running a 6-minute mile. So, which, I'm not that fast. So I'm impressed by that too.
Yeah, there's been times where I've run like the half or the full, and there's like kids who, or probably like they're 10 years old and they're just flying by me, and then I'm like,
energized.
That's great. I'm like, it makes me feel good about myself,
Yeah, my son is actually training for the 10K this year.
Okay.
And he's 8. And we got home from a training run the other day, and my husband looked at me and said, "You look way more tired than he does."
Well, he's got a little more energy, young legs, as they say. Well, obviously, once again, we're thankful for your time here today. We're thankful for this event. I mean, this is one of the things I think we really are Richmond, and you've already said it, Richmond really rallies around not only the 10K, the 8K, the half, the full. Those are really fun events in our town. And we love that. And we get to see, like, I go out there and cheer if I don't run it. And we get to see so many clients out there, and it's just a fun atmosphere to, hey, Bob, and it's quick, and everybody wants to hear their name yelled out. Yeah. So, people are running by and they might have their earphones on or whatever. And you yell and they look back and they're like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? So it's just a fun event, and it's just a fun community builder. And we're so thankful for sports backers, because not only do you guys put these races on, y'all do lots of other great events. Obviously, go check out their website. There's so much fun that you guys are about and part of here in the town, and y'all are a part of the fabric of our city for sure.
Well, thank you.
Thankful for you guys. So.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We, in addition to our events, we have our programs as well. So we are, trying to kind of live our work in the community.
No doubt. Well, I think you guys are doing more than just living that out. I think y'all are definitely a big part of the fabric, like we said. So we're thankful for you. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have not signed up, go sign up for the 10K this year. It should be a great event. Obviously, 6.2 miles. You can do that in your sleep. So do a little running, do a little training, and sign up for the 10K. And we'd love to have you out there this year. Hey, once again, thank you so much for watching and listening to our podcast. Please follow us on all of our social media sites. Be our website or Instagram account. And hey, we look forward to bringing you another edition of Chat and Chill with Providence Hill. Y'all have a great day.
Have a good
one. Bye,
one.
guys.